All right. Just doing a test. Let's see what happens. See if anybody's watching. Testing, testing. What up, Joker? I'm just doing a test right now. This is the first time I was on StreamYard, so gonna see how this goes. What's up, Bow Hunter? This is just a test run. I don't really know what I'm doing here, so guess we'll have to see what's going on. Sounds good. All right, cool. Appreciate that, Joker. So I don't know what we want to talk about today, but just doing a test run and seeing how this thing goes. So what's up with you guys? Let's see. Anybody want to join me? That would be cool, huh? Let's see. Guests. Invite a guest. Let's see. How do we go ahead and post this in the chat? Copy to clipboard. Let's go post this in the chat. There we go. Anybody want to come up? Feel free to come on up. This is my first trial run at StreamYard, so we're going to see what happens. I do not know what I'm doing, by the way. Anybody that's watching, so bear with me. Trying to see what the deal is. What's going on, Pepper? What's up, Bob? Broken will fix the system, believe it? Yeah, I doubt that, Bob. I highly doubt that. With the things going on in my life, you wouldn't believe it, man. You would not believe it. What's up, Rebecca? What's up, everybody just coming in? This is just a test run, guys, so don't expect anything too crazy. If anybody wants to join me, feel free. But we're just doing a test run right now. Let's see. I don't even know what I'm doing, to be honest. Oh, man. What do you guys feel like talking about? You guys feel like talking about some drama? We've had enough drama, I think, in the community. It's a little ridiculous if you ask me. So, but hey, is this showing up on YouTube? Can you guys give me a 1 in the chat if this is showing up on YouTube? Because I have no way of checking. All right, let's get Bob up here. Bob, I'm trying. Let's see. Add to the stream. All right, hey Bob, how's it going?
It's all good, Brooke. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I've been a lot better. Hey, appreciate all the ones, guys. Appreciate you telling me that everything's working. How are you doing, Bob?
Oh, I can't complain. Hang on, let me mute this other stuff here. Hang on.
Yep. What's up, OGW? Appreciate you guys being here. This is really just a test run. This is nothing special. So, got 9 people in here already, Bob.
Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, man, you're hitting it big time.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I don't feel like it, man. I don't feel like it, but maybe we can talk about EMS and EMTs. Just stand there while police assault people. Yeah, Pepper. You know that's kind of what I was saying up on Schrodinger's cat channel. I don't know if you guys pay attention to Schrodinger's cat. Maybe we'll talk about Schrodinger's cat for a second. Went up on the panel there. I've got a couple of links in my community page if anybody wants to check out the debate that I had on Schrodinger's, the quote-unquote debate. It was more like a dog pile, and they just basically tied me out and muted me the entire time. They were trying to debate with me. But if you guys haven't checked that out, I think I'm Schrodinger's newest fan. So Bob, did you happen to see that?
No, I didn't. I just actually came on. I
Oh,
was
gotcha,
just
gotcha.
watching a couple videos I saw. I was trying to find out. Maybe Joker knows. How's Kid doing? Did they ever find out who assaulted him? I saw he had a live last night, but then he took it down.
Why? What happened?
Remember Kid Chaos, right?
Yeah.
So last Saturday night, he was standing, wasn't paying attention, and some kid ran by, sucker punched him, knocked him to the ground, stole his
What?
wallet.
The world is getting crazy out there. What's up, Nikki? Welcome to the chat. This is just a test run. I don't really have a plan for the show or anything. Bob is my first guest, though. Everybody say hi to Bob, Constitution Matters. And appreciate you guys being here. I didn't really have a plan for this show, so, bear with me. I don't really know what anybody wants to talk about or what's going on, but tell him to mute the YouTube he's watching. Bob, I think they're saying, think they're asking you if you can
Still
mute the
doing it?
YouTube that you're watching.
Getting better?
Is that better, guys? Give it a 1 if that's getting better. Oh, we're down to 8 people watching, Bob. We're not that popular.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you told him that, hey, that nothing was happening, so we all left.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, this is
I
my
promise,
first
I'm
experience.
on a panel. We'll get drama somewhere.
Right? The echo is really bad. Nikki, is it any better now? Give me a 1 if it's any better now. Just echoing? Huh. Wonder why it's echoing so bad. I don't know if that's on my end.
Let's see, I got that one's off, that one's off. Let me see if I got something open that I don't know about. I got 2 StreamYards up, that's why. Okay, hold on. That one's not, that one's not. Shut that one down, shut that one down.
I think I It's only Bob, yeah. Hey guys, I'm just trying to get used to this right now, so bear with me. Let's see.
I don't have anything else open now, so it should be
Gotcha.
good.
If it's still echoing, guys, I don't know what to tell you. You should come to Tawas City sometime. MCC was up here recently and educated our sheriff. Yeah, MCC invited me to go out with them tomorrow, guys, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I got a lot of things going on in my personal life that's not so good, so I'm just hanging in there, hanging in for dear life at this point. So I think everything is kind of telling me to pick up and just take off, and just go. There's not much really keeping me here. I mean, I got my kids here, but everybody seems to think that I'm the problem. So when that's the case, sometimes you just got to go. And I've had people in my comments on my YouTube and stuff that tell me, hey, you got those people around you, distance yourself from them, and that might be just what I have to do, because right now I've got everybody in my life that's just the only thing I've wanted is to keep everybody together, and it seems like I'm the only one that wants to try to make that goal a reality. So everybody's trying to push me away. I got my daughter is having a birthday party next weekend, but it's over at my sister's house, and every time I go over there, my sister calls the cops on me. So
Yeah, you can't pick
I'm really at a loss for what to do. And then Bob, I heard your advice for not putting family court stuff out there, but I made my last video about how the family courts were operating outside of the law, and I finally came to the realization I'm not going to get a proceeding up to that courthouse. I was trying since April, and here it is November, and they still have denied me a proceeding. And so I guess what that means to me is they're not interested in letting me have a proceeding there. I either have to go for a change of venue, or I have to find somewhere else to go with the matter. And right now I'm just at a loss for where to even start and where to pick up with that sort of stuff. Because, I mean, initiating a termination of guardianship, that's what got my whole channel started in the first place,
Mhm.
you know. And to any of the Schrodinger's cat channel people that listen to this, I just want to tell you right now, you know, one of the knocks that you guys have on people that do cop watching and auditing is that they go out and they bother people that are working. And let me just tell you, so what happens when the cops show up at your door? Are you not supposed to record them when the cops show up at your door? So the decision I made was to record the cops when they showed up at my door and to record the entire process from start to finish. And you know, that kind of is what is the barrier between me getting anywhere with these people, is because I want to record everything that goes on. And anybody that tells me that I made a mistake by recording, I would just like to say, you know, I I just think of what would have happened if I wasn't recording that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. You know, CPS showed up at my door. What would have happened if I wasn't recording? You
Well,
know,
you know what I say, Broken? Pay no attention to the people in chat because you get idiots like me giving you advice.
well, Bob, you give me good advice. You know, I was trying to write my 1983 lawsuit, and I don't even know where to begin with it because it's such a long, complicated story, and
Yeah.
it's such a long, complicated process. I'd be good at writing other people's. I would probably be able to help them, you know, there. But when it comes to my own, I just, you know, I get in my own head sometimes, and I
Well,
start thinking,
here's what I would suggest. Write it all out and don't worry about it. Don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about how it sounds. Put it all down on paper. Then when you get it all down on paper, because there's no such thing as good writing, it's only good rewriting. So don't
yeah,
don't look at it going, oh, I got to write this and I got to make it the first shot. Okay, you can rewrite it 1,000 times. You know, it's retyping it, and then you can cut and paste. And then if you want, uh, I'll get you my email address. You can send it to me. I'll take a look at it and take some shots at editing it and putting it back together for you,
I
figuring out a way
appreciate
to,
that.
But I mean, what you want to just kind of do is just get it all out, what you think. Don't worry about it being too long, because once you have it all out, we can always cut it down and, make it sound a little better and a little sharper and stuff like that. But don't worry, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to put this, because then you're going to get overwhelmed. Start with one thing. Go, you know what, day one, page one, get that lined out, and then stop when you feel like stopping, and then keep going when you find out that you're ready to go. And this way, you get it out. You don't need to do it in, like, it's not an assignment. It needs to be done in 1 hour.
Yeah.
You have
Well, I
to.
mean, I've got everything on video. I've got every single thing, every single interaction, everything is on video. So, you know, it's just, and Nikki, I see in the chat, and um get a lawyer for my child. I've contacted about 5 lawyers, and I guess that's the point where I'm at right now. I'm kind of just throwing in the towel and just conceding that, yeah, I could probably use a lawyer's help with this. But you know, the one thing I got to say about that is a lawyer got me into this mess. You know, a lawyer set me up, and we went in to do a limited guardianship, and this lawyer, I suspect, was working behind the scenes. I mean, I paid for the lawyer um, that was helping me with my brother-in-law and my sister, and I have a feeling she was doing backroom deals with my brother and my sister, or my brother-in-law and my sister, and she set it up in a way that uh, that I was not interested in doing, and she set it up that way on purpose. You know, that's what I suspect, anyways. And I have a phone call with that lawyer. I'm going to release that phone call as well. Just because, like I said, I'm at the point right now where I've realized, like, this is going nowhere. I'm not going to get anywhere with this. My daughter is they're not going to terminate the guardianship because they're trying to cover up, the court is trying to cover up the fact that they set up the guardianship outside of the law in the first place. So, this would probably be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit if I had the right attorney that wanted to help me with it. But
Well, one
you
thing
know,
I'll tell you, you keep on putting out videos with phone conversations with the attorneys, you're not going to get an attorney.
and that's that. Yeah. So I'm kind of at a point right now where it's, it's probably to the point where it's like, I just got to let it go and I just got to move on to bigger and better things at this point. The only thing I'm making the videos for, Bob, to be perfectly honest, the sole reason that I'm creating these videos now is so that my daughter, when she gets older, I'm not going to tell her now, she's only 9 years old, but when she gets older, she's going to see all the people that lied. She's going to see all the people that interfered with her being with her dad. And then she's just going to be able to make up her own mind as far as, what happened. So, what's up, 182A? Welcome in. I'm just doing a test run. I don't know. I expect anything too eventful happening right now. What's up, MCC?
What's up, guys?
So, anyways, I guess if you're just joining us, I got Bob up here on panel. He's my first guest. So everybody say hi to Bob and appreciate Bob being here. And Bob is awesome. I really appreciate, him being up here and being our first guest. That's awesome.
Yeah,
But,
I remember the night they put you in jail for the contempt.
Yeah.
I had spoken to somebody who was an attorney who actually had a case against that, against that court,
Yeah.
in the appellate court for that very thing. And he seemed to be a little interested, like in what was going on. And then when he went on and he watched the video, he came back and he goes, I can't help you. And I was like, why? What happened? He goes, well, he said, the problem is that when, guys like you guys, and he was talking to me, he said, you and your friends who do these audits, he says, they don't want to listen and they think they know it all. And he said, he goes, and I don't need to be put on YouTube looking like a fool when I'm trying to help. So, I mean, that was, and I told Wolverine to tell you that when they went to pick you up. I said, the guy, I'm telling you, I had him, he called me back. I found him on Facebook after I did some research on case law. And I was like, whoa, this guy, where this guy's at. And then I found out, oh, he's an attorney. And then I called him, I FaceTimed him, whatever, on instant message. And then he called me back. We were talking for about 25 minutes where I was telling him about what happened. And, he seemed, like I said, he seemed real interested. And he was like, well, what's the story? And I said, well, here's this channel. Go look at it. And he goes, okay. And then he called me back about 15 minutes later. And he goes, I'm not going to be able to help you. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, what you're doing. And then I'll tell you from experience, because I have all of the transcripts, all of the video, or not the video, but all the audio from all my trials. Like I said, I had 4 of them, 4 years of custody battles.
Yeah.
Figuring the same thing. My kids, when they got older, my kids are 23 now, and they could care less.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want, they don't want to hear the tapes. They don't, I mean, it's a little different there because, like in that case, it's their mother maybe as opposed to your daughter, where it's your aunt in the legal system. But
yeah, well, I just can't believe in our courts. I mean, I expect the courts to be a little, I expect them to favor the moms, and I'm not saying that as a dig to any of the moms that might be watching this. I understand that, kids need that maternal bond a little bit more, I think, in the majority of situations. So I understand that. But I never expected to have to fight the court, an entire county, and my sister and my brother-in-law for custody. There's only one living parent. This entire journey started when I learned that my daughter's mom had passed away, and I learned that in December. Okay, so December rolls around, and I learned that my daughter's mom had passed away.
Now, how long has she been dead? I'm sorry.
She has been gone since November. And I apologize. I didn't learn in December. I learned in January because it's very critical. I misspoke there. I learned in January that my daughter's mom had passed away. And the strange thing is about this is when I learned that my daughter's mom passed away in January, the first thing me and my fiance looked at each other and asked is, I wonder if my sister knows about this. Because the sole reason that we established a guardianship was to protect my daughter if something were to happen to me. if I were to get into a car accident or, something unfortunate happened to me and all of a sudden I was gone, I didn't want my sister to have to be able to have to fight my daughter's mom to keep her where she was at. So that's the sole reason it was established on my end, right? And this is in January that I learned that my daughter's mom passed away. And me and my fiance, we looked at each other and we asked, do you think my sister Erica knows about this? Do you think Erica knows? And I said, no, she would have told she would have said something if that happened. And so I find out a few days later that my sister knew the entire time. My sister had known since December. She is the one that knew since December, and early in December, like I think it was December 18th or somewhere in there, she found out.
Right.
And so what that means is me and my fiance were over at my sister's house for Christmas. We were over there for New Year's, and the entire time we were there, my sister knew that my daughter's mom passed away and didn't even bother to tell me.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Isn't it? So this entire time I'm over there opening Christmas presents. All my kids are there. It's us kind of as, somewhat of a happy family. And my sister is pretending like she knows nothing about my daughter's mom passing away. And then so fast forward a little bit after that, and we find out that, my sister did know, and I just couldn't believe it. I felt so betrayed and just so, hurt by the whole thing, because why wouldn't they tell me? And the reason they wouldn't tell me is because they know the only reason I set up a guardianship in the first place was because my daughter's mom was still in the picture. So
Are you
now my
still on the
daughter's mom.
docket? Are you still on the docket with your termination case?
No. Here's the thing. They stopped that proceeding because they accepted paperwork from my sister and my brother-in-law. My sister and my brother-in-law filed for direct custody of my daughter. And so 3 days before our proceeding, the court accepted paperwork from them stating that there were no other pending matters in this case. And
okay, so you have a docket that shows that there was.
right, exactly. I have a docket that shows that there was.
So file a motion asking them to reconsider. Did they dismiss it?
They said it was a stay. They stayed the proceeding. So
okay, so
it
they're
doesn't
staying
mean
the proceedings, and they're staying the proceedings, and they're going to have a custody thing. So you get to have a say in the custody, right?
you know what? I don't even know, because I wasn't even, I didn't even respond to the custody paperwork that I got, because it said right on there that,
So what you got to do now is okay. So they're saying, I think what's happening is the judge is saying, before we have this hearing on your termination of the thing, let's have a full blown custody hearing on the custody, because that'll be more involved. So that's where you want to fight the custody. Petition the court, file your own motion or file your own paperwork asking for them to grant you custody, because she's got a guardianship, not custody. The mother died. Okay, so basically the children are, I don't know what your story is. I don't want you to put it out here on where you are with your parental status. You know what I mean? Like, if somehow you surrendered your parental rights to your sister.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why, I signed up for a limited guardianship, and I have the recording of the court proceeding where they said this was filed as a limited guardianship, but somehow it's a full guardianship. So there's some funny business that happened in there, Bob, and I don't know.
You got to go get all the documents from the court on that proceeding, any paperwork, any orders, and then read them. Find out what the judge's order was, because it sounds like somewhere along the line. So maybe in the beginning they, when they established it, because she looks a little bit older, so they probably did this while she was a baby, and then while you weren't paying attention, they kept going back to court and getting it modified, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's all been very secretive, which would explain why the whole time I was trying to get this proceeding, I was willing to look past the fact that my sister didn't tell me about my daughter's mom dying. And then here comes April rolling around. April is my son's birthday,
Mhm.
and my sister and my brother-in-law, everybody was at my son's birthday party. And when we were at my son's birthday party, I learned that my daughter had put my sister had put my daughter on drugs. And my daughter is 8 years old. My 8 year old daughter has been put on drugs, and my sister again didn't bother to tell me about any of the doctor's appointments, anything like that. And it's very unusual, Bob, because the way my
Sounds it.
sister the way my sister and my brother-in-law try to portray it to the world is I just left my daughter with them and then I took off, which couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, my daughter, I've had my daughter half the time. You know,
Mhm.
my daughter was with me half the time, her entire life. Her entire life, she's known that her dad was there. She comes over and sees me half the time. When she was in preschool for 2 years, Bob. 2 years. I picked her up every day at 3:30. There were no buses at preschool. I picked my daughter up every single day at 3:30. My daughter knows who I am. My
Mhm.
daughter loves me. My daughter, is used to seeing me practically every single day. And then all of a sudden this happens and her mom dies. And then all of a sudden all these secrets come out. And then all this, the omitting the information about my daughter's mom's death, the omitting information about the medical appointments, like that never happened prior to this year. Prior
Right.
to this year, that had never happened.
Because
I was involved in I
the
took her to all
mother,
of her medical
the
appointments. I
mother
took
kept,
her.
the mother didn't have any, so she's got the partial guardianship on your side. The mother didn't agree to that, right?
Correct. The mother was not even informed. And by Michigan
All right, so
law,
you can go back in. So the beautiful thing about family court is all that stuff that happened in the past doesn't matter. None of that matters. I mean, in terms of legally, the courts are not bound to make, like, the fact that she's got a guardianship and all that. You know, they'll hear that testimony, but they're not bound by any of that. Everything in family court is de novo, which means it starts fresh. Okay, and I can tell you this from custody because it's not like if we're fighting over a Cadillac and then I decided, hey, you win, it's your car. 6 months later, I can come back and go, you know what? I think it's my car. Use the exact same evidence and everything else. And if I get a different judge and it hears it a different way and the judge decides with me, guess what? The fact that they gave it to you last time doesn't matter. It's all what's in the best interest of the child. And the fact that you've been in the child's life and to do it, you've got a pretty strong position to take. I mean, you're the father. Okay. The judge is going to have to go in there and say, we're not giving this father his rights. I mean, we're going to deny this child access to her father. And they don't do that lightly. I mean, at least where I live in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, when it comes to custody, now again, it gets a little squirrelier because they're going to make that argument that, oh, you weren't here, but they got to kind of prove that. And the fact that you're willing to fight it and go in and even like what they say, getting a lawyer, makes a lot of sense. But in family court, because it's your kid that you're fighting over, I mean, they don't really hold it against you that you don't have a lawyer in most family judges because a lot of those cases are, and they're not as formal as most trials because the end result is we're dealing with children here and we got to find out a way to make everybody get along. You know what I mean? And you don't have anything on you that makes you dangerous. I mean, it's not like I mean, that I know of. I hope it's true, but you don't have any, like, and these are rhetorical questions. Don't answer them here because we don't want to give anybody, if there is any, but you don't have anything bad in your past that they could, like, point to and go, oh, he just got out of prison for homicide or something like that, where they could say you were dangerous and you've been in jail and incorrigible, or things like that. So
Well,
if you don't have any of that kind of stuff, I mean, I would take that paperwork and go in and file. I'd actually go down and file a petition for my own custody. Counter sue, and have the hearing at the same time.
well, I just don't think I'm going to get. I mean, this court has made it very clear, Bob, that they're not going to hear my matter. I mean, I've been fighting to get this matter heard since April, and here it is. Now here's the crazy thing. They they gave me the Zoom proceeding, right? And then they said the signal was cutting in and out. So then they scheduled it for October 19th, or August 19th, I'm sorry. August 16th, 3 days prior to that, I had my disorderly arraignment where that judge just talked over me, didn't look at any of the evidence, and said that I'm forbidden to go to the 1200 building, which caused the proceeding to get delayed until October, which was this past month, which was 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. And so what happened there, the disorderly case got dropped. My daughter's attorney, the GAL that was assigned to that, said you did nothing wrong up to the 1200 building. But the 1200 building just insisted on delaying the matter. All they've done is delay this matter and not hear this matter properly, Bob. That's all they've done.
Right.
They've purposely, I mean, I shouldn't say purposely. I suspect they've done it purposely.
It appears that they are.
It appears
so they can't come at you.
Right. And hey, everybody just coming into chat. This was set up just to be a test run here of StreamYards. This is my first time on here. I got our guest is Bob, Constitution Matters, and appreciate you guys being here. This was set up just to be a test run, and all I've been doing is kind of venting at this point about where I'm at in my family court matter. Anybody that's been paying attention to the videos, I appreciate you guys, paying attention to the videos, because I never expected a father to have zero rights in family court, but that's the way it's looking. It appears that fathers have no rights up at this courthouse. It appears like no matter what a dad does, he can't get the court to hear his matter. And
now, was your termination hearing in family court? Like the same judge?
Yeah, the termination was in family court.
And who's the judge here in the custody? Is it the same judge?
No, it's a different judge.
All right, so you got a different judge. So that's a good start.
Well, I don't even know. I wasn't even given a court date for that. I was just given 21 days to respond to it, but I didn't respond because what's that?
Did you respond?
No, I didn't respond at all. I couldn't go up to the 1200 building.
Okay, so you got to go up. You got to go up now, and go. You got to get a hold of somebody at the courthouse and get back on that docket and get a hearing to say that, hey, I didn't respond because I wasn't allowed to come to the thing because of other nonsense that got dropped, and get that back on there. You want to get back on that. You want to get back in that case.
Well, Bob,
you want to be a party to that case. Okay. And then I want to address Nikki's comment where she said that, representing yourself in family court. I agree, Nikki, you want representation. I always say, don't get your advice from the guy you sat next to at the bar, and that would be me. Get it from somebody you passed the bar. I'm not an attorney, and so I'm not trying to give them legal advice. I'm saying that if you're going to walk away from it without a fight, you know what? It's better to go in and fight for yourself than to not fight at all because you can't afford an attorney. That's the difference of where.
Well, I've been fighting this the entire time. Like, I've fought to stay in her life since day one. And, I made the mistake. Going back to the very beginning, it was my fault when I called CPS in the first place. Back when she was 9 months old, I called CPS to help with her mom. And, once CPS gets involved,
once they're in the system, they don't let go.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a classic case of once my daughter is in the system. I mean, They closed out the case in 2016 and they awarded full custody to me. I had full custody back in 2016. And then I set up a guardianship, thinking that was the best thing to do to protect my daughter. And then my daughter's mom dies. My daughter gets $1,000 a month in survivor benefits. And my brother-in-law and my sister just are, that's the reason they're not letting go of the guardianship, is because they want the $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month is more important than our family unity.
Yeah.
$1,000 a month.
Hardly anything. About that. I've seen
it's $1,000 a month. It's hardly anything, and they would rather keep $1,000 a month and pretend like I was trying to cause problems here when all I was trying to do. I've got the text messages with my brother-in-law saying, hey, we're going to keep everything the exact same. We just need to terminate the guardianship. What happens if my sister and my brother-in-law die in a car accident? My daughter would go into the foster care system.
Well, you could always petition to get her back then. I mean, the people who are going to oppose you. Now, the fact that the fact that Child and Youth Services on her side.
I'm sorry, what?
Have Child and Youth Services have they come down on, or CPS, Child Protective Services, whatever they are. They have different initials in each state.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are
No,
they coming down on your sister's side? Like, have they officially come down and said, "Hey, we support her getting it"?
oh yeah. I mean, like the whole family court has basically said they're on her side. You know, basically through their actions. I mean, nobody's come out and told me any of that. I can't even get anybody.
The court can't really be on
even,
her side because they haven't really had any. They haven't had the hearing yet. So,
well,
I mean,
and
I agree that the court system and CPS, but the judge is bound, and the judge is subject to appeal and stuff like that. So they're gonna try to at least look fair, if not be fair. You know, I do believe that in family court, the judges, you know, they're going to try to be fair. You know, they're going to try to give you a shot. So I said I would get back into that case in any way, shape, or form. And if they don't, here's the other beautiful thing about custody: wait 6 months and then file it again, because up until that kid's 18 years old, you wait a couple months and you can say the situation changed. And I'm telling you, I lived that. The same, you know, I've had the same case thrown at me 4 separate times.
Bob, I feel like I'm never going to get a fair shake at the courthouse because I brought cameras up there. I brought cameras up there to document what happened. And so I was documenting the process because they kept saying they weren't getting my paperwork or they weren't getting my phone call.
Change the venue then. Get it sent to another county. See if you do that. You know, I mean, just file, like you file. They may say no, but I mean, a motion is a motion is a motion. You filed a motion, you pay for the motion fee to file it. They have, you know, you find out who the motion judge is that day, and you know, you ask them, hey, can we get filed a motion a couple of days before the hearing? Find out who the motion judge is and see if they're going to hear your motion that day. Maybe you can get a judge to change the venue of the trial.
Well, I've got everybody running interference, Bob. Right now, there's not much I can do. I mean, I've got, you know, unless I raised money to get an attorney, unless I could raise the money for that, I feel like I'm dead in the water at this point.
All right, so let's just take another route and think of this, and don't answer this. This is just something to think about. So if you believe that what they want is the money, okay, let them have the money. Let them keep the money. All you want your kid and access to your kid. Will they? Do you think if you gave them the money, they'd give you the kid, at least access to her?
Well, I mean, I've had access to her. They've, you know, I've
seen a couple times when you went there, like the last time Sunday, it looked like you went to go see her, and you know, you hadn't seen her in a while, and they wouldn't let her come out, and the cops are like, well, we don't see the custody order or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was a video from a while ago. The only reason I
that was recent if you were not seeing your daughter still.
Yeah, no, that was from the summer. That video was from the summer.
Okay.
And that's when, so I went to file a termination of the guardianship for my daughter back in April. And then a week later, CPS shows up at my house with allegations that I'm on drugs and things like that. Keep in mind,
you just get a drug test and go, see, wrong. Oh,
right, exactly. So that's what I did. Right.
You go someplace and you get one and get it certified that, you know. And then
yeah. That's exactly what I did. Right, that's exactly what I did, and I showed them the drug test. So the video that you saw where I was at my sister's house. Mm-hmm. That video was captured a week after CPS had stopped by my house, and a week after I had taken the drug test, and everything came back negative. Gotcha. And my sister is still on that video saying, "Well, I had CPS involvement." It's like, well, yeah, you're the one that called CPS, or maybe it wasn't you, but it was your family. It was her son that called CPS.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering. So they don't come after you for child support?
Who, my sister?
Yeah, or is that they're coming after you for child support? Because I mean, let's play this the other way. There's a lot of men who'd be like, man, I'll give my kids up to my sister anyway. And a lot of
Well,
women,
yeah, I
too.
mean,
I'm not gonna,
yeah, there's a ton of guys out there that won't even fight it and be like, okay, here you go, I'll just send in my
right. And
child
then
support every month.
that what'll happen is the court will come around and say, okay, now you got to pay child support.
Well, and see, and that's the thing. I've accepted my responsibility as her dad. Like I said, I picked her up every
Well, I'm
single
not
day.
saying you don't. I'm just
Right. Like that. That's why I picked her up every single day from preschool.
Mhm.
I've got. I mean, I've been involved in her life every single day of her life up until just recently, up until my sister called CPS on me, and up until then, I was pretty much what the most active adult in her life.
right.
She calls my fiance mom. She calls me dad. You know what I mean? It's
Again, on the face of it, without going too deep into it, I don't know you that well to make a judgment one way or the other. I mean, it sounds to me that you've got a fighting chance in family court. Go to court, file for, contest the grant of custody. Say, hey, listen, I'm the kid's father. Okay, um, I should have, I've been a big part of my child's life the whole time. The guardianship was set up, for a reason to protect, because to protect my children from the mother. And now the mother's not around. We don't need the same protection because I can do that through a will in terms of who takes care of your child, directions. So you
well,
can
yeah.
handle all that and then
Well,
see what they say.
well,
If
the other
nothing else,
kicker to
go for
the
joint custody. I mean, if they want to have both and to keep it, you can go for split custody. But you want to get
I've
some kind
offered.
of legal rights on paper so that they just can't pack up and move to Florida.
Yeah, Bob, I've tried every single thing. Okay, my sister and my brother-in-law, they had a house bought for them. You know what I mean? Like my brother-in-law's grandparents bought him a house, and
Right.
then his grandparents died earlier this year. And before the whole CPS and involvement, everything, my sister was talking to me, telling me how I should just give up my rights to Addison because she stands to inherit a lot of money from his grandparents dying. And what I think it really was I think they stood to inherit the grandparents' money, not my daughter. And
Right.
so they were making it seem like my daughter was the one getting the money so that they could pressure me into terminating my rights, my
But
parental
I mean,
rights.
but outside of this, you get along with them. Other than this issue here, you got along with them. It's not like you don't like each other to begin with.
Well, I mean, up until they called CPS on me for the second time, but ever since then, I can't.
Right.
How do you trust somebody? How do
Right.
you
But
trust
but
somebody
that's.
after that?
I mean, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. But that's like you can understand that if they were doing that for an economic gain, possibly that's forgivable. I mean, it's not like they were trying to put your kid in the system. They were trying to keep the kid for themselves. So, yeah, it's not good. I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying that you guys could probably get past that in time. In terms, it's not like that they put you in jail and like lied
Oh,
and
Bob, they've tried. I've gotten calls from when I showed up at my sister's house. You saw she called the cops. She
yeah.
called the police on
But
me
again, I
when.
think it's not like but it's not like she's accusing you of murder or something like that. Real
Oh,
heinous.
she's accused me of harassing her.
Yeah.
I send my kids because I don't want my kids to suffer. I send my kids to go over there. My sister blocked my phone calls, so I couldn't even call her house. So I had to call other phone numbers to get a hold of my kids at her house. And then she calls the police and says that I'm harassing her, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
So this has just got to be one messy situation. Now my fiance is talking about, my fiance talks to my sister, and I intercepted a couple messages from my fiance saying that, basically she was getting ready just to leave me and go over there and stay over at my sister's house.
Yeah, I'm seeing I Spy's comment. The problem with walking away is, it's not like he's walking away from a deal. He's walking away from his kid potentially. So that's a
And
lot.
I
That's
spy.
a lot easier said than done. I Spy.
Listen, at this point, at this point I would be willing to walk away and just go do my own thing and just leave it for a while because I mean I love my kids,
Right.
but I can't, if people are going to identify me as the problem, and I'll go away, and we'll see if that was the case.
Try contacting your sister without being hostile. Like, find out what. Okay, in an ideal world, ask her what does she want, and start there. Okay, and then see if you can get closer to that position and get what you want, because you really what you want is the ability to have access to your child.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if she wants to play mom and dad and be able to like be big sister, I'm assuming she's your older sister because it just sounds like she's playing big sister on you.
Yeah.
That okay, if you want to play big sister and have that kind of authority over me, because I don't know, my older sister wants to do that to me in some way, shape, or form. Okay, but here's what it's going to cost you to get that. I need in writing unfettered access at unfettered times. So it's like if I want to see my daughter, like I'm allowed to come to any of her school events. I'm allowed to interact with her teachers. I want some say in like reasonable things that a father would have in a custody battle with like his ex. I
Bob,
want
I've
some
tried.
say in the
Bob, I've tried.
medical. I want some say. I'm not
I've
asking for ultimate authority, but I want some say. I want some say in how they're raised. I want some visitation.
I've tried all of that, Bob. I've tried it. Till I'm blue in the face. That's why when I spy is saying just walk away, I mean, that's at this point, that's almost the only option that I have. I mean, when the whole CPS thing started, when they called CPS on me, I had a good job. I had just started a really, really good job. I lost that job because CPS was trying to follow me around.
Right.
They were following me around everywhere I went. And I called the people that I was working with, and it would have been my 4th day on the job. And I said, listen, I can come to work today, but there's no guarantee. CPS might show up out there because they had followed me around the previous day.
Right.
And then they said, well, we're going to let you know the next time we need you to come in. So not
Yeah.
only, I mean, this cost me a lucrative job.
Right.
And I mean,
I
and
believe
ever
that.
since then, lucrative jobs don't come along all that often. You know what I mean? And so, I need to get working. I need to find a job is really what it takes. I'm gonna need to find a job. I'm gonna need, all that stuff. And as soon as my family will learn that I started a job somewhere, they're gonna do everything in their power to sabotage it. They don't want me having a good job. They don't want me being stable. They don't want me on my feet because then I'm a huge threat to them.
Right.
So,
well, maybe when they realize that you're, like that you're really just have your child's best interest at heart, and then you show them that you focus on the 2 kids that you do have. And let me tell you something, your daughter's old enough to know you already. Okay. The fact that they keep her from you in any way, shape, or form, she's getting to that age, what, she's 9 or 10 now.
Yeah, she's good. Well, she turned 9 November 1st.
Yeah, so I was just saying, looking in the picture, she looked like she was about 9 or 10 years old. Okay, so they're now 10-year-olds are 10 is the new teenagers. It used to be 13. Now with the internet and everything else going on, they start getting mouthy and a little lippy more at like 9, 10. So they're gonna. Your sister's gonna have her hands full. And if she,
my daughter already sees it. My daughter calls her Erica instead of Aunt now. My daughter is completely furious over this entire situation.
And that's only going to get worse for your sister. So
yeah, exactly. And I try to tell them this, Bob, and then they think I'm just talking shit to them, and they just think I'm being an asshole. And I'm like, this is just not good for any of the kids. How come you guys can't see it? I'm the only person that's living in reality right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person that's going, this is, the kids are suffering. The kids are unhappy. The kids are screaming how unhappy they are. There's only one person that's happy in this whole situation, and that's my brother-in-law. And I suspect it's because he's getting his inheritance. He's getting the $1,000 a month. And then I'm over here on the side, basically can't even work because if they find out that I'm working, they're going to sabotage it and send CPS after me or try to do something to sabotage the job.
I mean, at this point, sending CPS after you sounds futile because. So right now, as it stands right now, do you have any custody at all? Like, does the kid go home every night to your?
No, the last agreement that we had, I had unlimited parenting time where I could go get her anytime, and I'd spend 5 days a week with her.
Okay, so as it stands right now, you have her 5 days. Your sister has her too.
My sister, well,
Where
since
does she
school
sleep
started,
at night?
she sleeps at my sister's pretty much every night now that school started. But in the summers, she would spend pretty much every day over here. She would
Okay.
spend every day at my house in the summer. So pretty much the days she was in school, she stayed over at my sister's, and every other day she would spend with me. So it was about 50-50. It
All
was
right.
really close to
So let's
50.
just say it's 50. Let's just say it's 50-50, but she spent you. I mean, you get waking hours, so she sleeps at the sister's house. Okay, you can live with that. So if you've got 50-50 waking hours, and that's going through as of today, or is it like what's the last week like other than school? I mean, are you and your sister at least allowing? Is your sister at least allowing you to see your kid now?
Well, yeah, she lets her come over here, and that's
All right. Well,
the
then I
other
mean,
bizarre thing.
it sounds like at the end of the day, I mean, other than she's got say that you should have, but if practically speaking, I mean, I kind of look at it like this and say, what's the best kind of boat to have? Somebody else's. So if she wants to take all the responsibility and the crap of where the kid sleeps and do that, and you got a full-time living babysitter for $1,000 a month, and you get to see the kid all the time, all you want, I'd say you're ahead of the game.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking that she's keeping the kid away from you, and you're like, oh my God, I want to see my daughter. My daughter should.
well, I mean,
Your daughter
she
seems
is.
to love you. You seem to have a good relationship with her. I mean, it's your sister. I mean, it's not like it's not like somebody who doesn't know you and won't let you near her. This will settle down. You guys will get back together, and things will go back to kind of like how it was before. Once they realize you don't care about the money, and then just go get a job and let them keep the 1,000, and see if things will settle down. Maybe that'll work for you.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
like I
because
said,
really, at the end of the day, the only thing I'm interested in is seeing people like try to find a happy medium. I'm not telling you like what to do or to do it. It's like,
yeah.
hey, look, see if you can find a happy medium, and if you can make it happy and come to an agreement with your sister that you both can live with, that's way better than getting a judge to decide.
Yeah. Well, my sister doesn't want to talk to me at all. So my sister,
Well, I mean, can you consider, honestly though, like if I was your brother, I mean, I'm not afraid of cameras and I'm not emotionally involved in it. But if you and I were beefing on an emotional thing, the last thing I'd want is somebody sticking a camera in my face and put me on the internet while I argue with you. So,
well,
that could be part of it. I mean, I hear you that, doing it to the cops, doing it to the things like that. But when you're doing it to your family, I mean, I could see like where they would hold that against you, and a lot of people would probably support their position rather than ours. That we got the
well, that's why I held on. That's why I held on to those recordings, Bob, and I didn't release them. I didn't release those recordings,
right.
But the thing with the recordings is that they lie all the time. They'll constantly lie.
I understand.
They will,
I know exactly.
So I have to have documentation.
Yeah,
I have to document it, and I can't even step foot around there without them calling the cops on me. So I don't want to go around there unless I have a camera or unless I have documentation as to what happened.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, listen, I'm not trying to make you like I'm not trying to make you feel bad or point. I'm just trying to like say, oh, look at their perspective as much as you can to try, because the more you can understand how they feel, because when it comes to this kind of stuff in family court, a lot of times it's really not issues as much as emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, I found that, and what, I mean, the stuff, the amount of money I spent for battles, is a thing, and just thinking I was doing the right thing. And at the end of the day, and when all was said and done, did anybody win? I think everybody came out losing in the game. That's
how I feel. I feel like everybody is losing in this. Every single person is losing in this except for one person. That's my brother-in-law. He stands to get his inheritance. That's all he was in this for, was to get his inheritance, to portray it to the world like everything is fine, everything is great. He said at the court date that everything was fine. Everything was fine. Yet on Memorial Day, he went to jail because he couldn't let my daughter come with me for the day. And this was 2 months after he had called CPS, and he ran out of reasons why. My daughter asks every day. My daughter says, "Oh, you're probably stopping me from calling my dad again."
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, like I said, I mean, you know, I've found work here and there, but I need to find something steady. I'm just half tempted just to hit the road and put one foot in front of the other and see where life takes me, because there's nothing good coming from staying here. There's absolutely nothing good from coming from staying here. And like I said, I mean, you know, if I found the right attorney, I mean, this would be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. I know it because they tried charging me with disorderly conduct for documenting what I did up at the courthouse, and they dismissed that case.
Mm-hmm.
And then they set up a guardianship outside of the law. Like, the law states in it that they can't set up the guardianship the way that they set it up. So I understand when attorneys say, "Oh, well, you know, I don't want to take a case," like, I'm a perfectly normal guy, Bob. I don't release phone conversations and phone calls and, you know, anything like that, unless I feel like you're trying to get one over on me and you're trying to
Right.
screw me over.
Right.
So, you know, if there's an attorney out there, I'd be more than willing to listen to that attorney. I'd be more than willing to, you know, let them take the reins and let them, you know, basically do everything. I know hardly anything about family law. You know, the only thing I'll claim to have any knowledge on legally is, you know, how to challenge nonviolent victimless crimes. That's the only thing that I've ever claimed to know how to do.
Well,
And
the nice thing about family court is the only standard in family court is what is in the best interest of the child. That's the only issue that the judge is weighing everything against. There's no, you know, and they got a lot of leeway. It's not like, okay, well, procedurally we have to do this and we have to do that. And you know, I know like where I live in Pennsylvania, they passed a law. I think it was 2010, where for custody, where in the past, you know, they kind of favored the mothers, and then now it's like you get 50-50, and it's hard to move off of that unless both parties agree. So if you're going to
well,
contest, you know, when you come in and you go into family court in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, the assumption is you're going to get, you know, you can fight for it to try to get more, but it's an uphill battle.
yeah.
50-50 is pretty much, and my divorce started in 2007, so I wasn't bound by those rules because they took effect after mine started. But you know, everybody I know after who had kids after me, you know, they pretty much it knocked a lot of the divorce or the custody cases out of the game because 50-50 was the standard.
Yeah. Well, at this point, like I said, I mean, I've got nothing at this point. I've got no job. I've got no, you know, I mean, this has just completely consumed everything. This has completely consumed me. So, I mean,
It kills you. I mean, it literally it'll wear you down.
so, I mean, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what life has planned for me, Bob, but you know, something's got to come through. I know there's going to be an opportunity somewhere to do something. I just don't feel like it's going to be here. I just feel like I've exhausted all my options locally. I really
Right.
have. I mean, I'm
Well, you
just
got
going
to
to
do
have
what you
to.
got to do. I mean, that's the thing. You got a family. You know, you got two kids and a fiance to take care of. So, if you got
Well,
to do,
my fiance is talking about I'm the problem and she wants to leave too. So,
uh, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
well, I just found that out a few days ago. So, you know, talk about being betrayed by everybody. Talk about being betrayed by every single person in your life. And, you know, I've got the text messages. The only thing I'm guilty of is saying that I want this family to be together, and I want to document everything so I can show everybody I'm the one fighting to keep this family together. Everybody else is fighting to keep the family apart.
Somebody's telling me he wants to eat. Say hi to
So,
everybody. Huh? Say hi. Look at
I
the
mean,
cow.
I
Look at the
I
cow.
wish I had better. I wish I had better news to report, but this is
Yeah.
the part about life. Life isn't always about the good things. You know what I mean? And right now it's
Yeah.
right now I'm half tempted just to take off. My the landlord of the house that I'm at, he wants to take back the house, so it's and he wants a notice to quit, and so I'm gonna be faced with some difficult choices here pretty soon. I mean, I'm more than likely just gonna have to take off and start from scratch, and
Well,
that's
so you have three children, right? Two of them biologically. Is that the way I understand it?
correct.
And then third. Okay. So if you go off, are you going to take your one with you, or are you going to like wind up putting that potentially getting yourself further down the road in a jam up of this sort later?
Well, she sounds like she does. She sounds like she just wants to, go off and do her own thing anyway. So I don't know how she's planning on doing that, but she'll probably get more support than what she's received from me,
Hmm.
because like I said, I mean, this has just been completely, it's just consumed everything. It's consumed my entire life
Yeah.
up to this point. So at some point, you just gotta make a decision, I think, and maybe this is God's way of saying, like just, you're better off just leaving and going and doing your own thing and
Well, I don't
figuring
know
it
about
out from
that.
there.
I would think long and hard about just about that. You know, figure out look at it closer to home and say, okay, here's what I got to do. Like what are the priorities, and then put them in order, and then work towards them.
Yeah.
That's because just going somewhere else, just I mean, you're just going to be further away, but the problems don't really disappear because of geographical distance. So I mean,
Well,
like if you get an offer for a decent job somewhere, and you got to go take a decent job somewhere, that's a different story. But just going,
well,
I'll go look somewhere else. I mean,
well,
expand your horizons in terms of that. If
well, I'm,
you're going, you got
well,
nothing
Bob,
there, but don't run
Bob,
from
I'm praying for that opportunity. You know what I
it.
mean? I'm praying for an opportunity to present itself. I mean, I've had people that have looked out for me before, and before the whole COVID thing hit, I mean, I had somebody reach out to me, and I started a really good job, like a really, really good job. I went to Ohio to do some training, and
Hmm.
I worked there 2 days, and then the COVID thing hit, and that job went that job went bye bye. And the guy who got me into his company, and this was a big company. This was a big company. It was a great opportunity. And not only did, obviously I only worked for the company for 2 days when COVID hit. So of course, they have no loyalty to a guy who worked there for 2 days. But we went
Right.
to Ohio, did some training, and this guy, he had worked there close to 20 years. They laid him off, and then he lost his job too. He didn't go back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people facing a lot of tough times. I mean, they're,
So
they're, we got a lot of people that are facing the mandate, and we're trying to say, what are they going to do with all these people that don't want to take the shot? So,
well, and that's, I mean, I'm praying for an opportunity somewhere. I'm praying that somebody has a job opening, something that's, somewhat lucrative. You know what I mean? I've been looking online. I've been trying to see if there's a couple jobs that, you work from home, and I think it's like $800 a week or something like that. So it's not like the greatest paying job or whatever, but it's, I got to
yeah,
find
working from home
something.
is nice. I'll do that. I'm
What's that?
fortunate I get to work from home.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Well,
benefit.
I've got, you know, my body is starting to fail on me. My feet, you know, are giving out on me, and my body is failing. But I mean, so I don't know. I really don't know where to turn or what to do at this point. You know what I mean? I've got a lot of management experience, and as a matter of fact, I was an area manager when my daughter was born, and I got laid off 3 months after my daughter was born, and I never pursued another management job because I was a single dad. So I mean, it's not like I could commit to a management job at that time because so what I did is, I mean, life kind of has a way of humbling you sometimes. And I was an area manager. I had 23 people that worked for me. And, at that point, I was just on unemployment for a few months. I took whatever job I could. I was delivering pizzas at night. You know what I mean? I was delivering pizzas at night. I was working at a canoe rental on the weekends when my sister could, help me watch my daughter on the weekends because she worked a job. My brother-in-law worked a job. So I was just doing whatever job I could, taking a job at night delivering pizzas, taking a job on the weekends, working at a canoe rental. And, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I've got a lot of experience in management. I've got a lot of um I've got a lot of experience working with people. But I just could never explore those. I mean, the last management job that I turned down, it was a 6-figure job, and I turned it down because I had my daughter and I had to look after my daughter.
Mhm.
So
Well, I'll tell you that while you're looking, one of the good things to do is like delivering food, like pizza delivery guys. You get to know because a lot of times people will tell you when you're delivering pizza and you're, hey, how you doing, and you're friendly. You'd be surprised. I know a couple people who did that and actually, people that they had on their route hooked them up with like, hey, you know what? When they were going, hey, you know what? Because that the guy, if he's delivering pizza, he's probably up for a better job, and if they think you're a decent human being, and they may refer you or hire you in their store or something like that. So,
well, yeah.
just getting out of the
Well,
house, a lot of times it's just the first start.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not opposed to doing any job. Like I said, I mean, I'm not opposed to working pretty much anywhere. I'll take whatever job I can, that comes my way, especially if I'm not working.
Right.
But like I said, the last 2 lucrative jobs that I had, the one I was offered, but I couldn't take because I was taking care of my daughter and I couldn't commit to a management job. And then the second one was the job that I got offered just before COVID hit. And then right before COVID hit, worked 2 days. I mean, we drove down to Ohio for a full day's worth of training. So that'll tell you, kind of how, important that job was. I mean, if you're going to be a pizza delivery guy, they don't send you to Ohio to train for that sort of job, you know? So,
Cammed Up's got a good thing. He said, being together doesn't make you a better parent, but showing love and being there when she needs you is the important thing to do. So,
well, it is. It
I mean,
is.
the nice thing about it is you've already got a relationship with your daughter that bond's not going to be broken easily. So that's
Well,
one that's one system. That's one system you don't have to worry about being broken.
I just hope I survive long enough to make it to that point because right now I need,
You will.
right
You
now I
got
need to,
it. You got it.
right now I need to find a good job. And without that good job, I'm basically, going to have nothing.
Well, you're always going to have your daughter. So I mean,
Well, what I'm saying, Bob, is, I don't even know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to point out to you, like, hey, you know what? No matter how bleak things look, the real shit that's important, and
I hear you.
so.
Well, I'm just going to keep praying and keep thinking that maybe something's going to come across, or come my way. I hear good things happen to good people.
Right.
And so I'm just going to try to be a good person and try to do what I can. But, I mean, this just started off being a test stream or a test, show. I didn't mean to get all personal and, but I'm not in a great place right now. I feel like
Well,
I've been betrayed.
hopefully you feel a little bit better. I mean, that's
I
all.
feel a little bit better getting it off my chest, but I
Right.
still feel betrayed. I still feel like I can't trust anybody, and I still feel like, you know, um, I guess I'm just, I don't know. I don't like playing the victim role. I don't like playing the victim at all. But
There's my number in private chat. So if you ever need to, you ever want to talk to me offline, where we don't have the world watching, that's how to get a hold of me.
Well, I'm gonna write that number down, Bob, and I think I'm gonna end this live stream.
Yeah, I got
shortly.
to talk too. That's what I was going to say. That's why I wanted to give it to you. But, hey, so I'm glad I got to be the first.
Well, yeah, thanks for being my first guest. Anybody that's been tuning in, I guess, say your goodbyes in chat and do what you have to do to, wrap up the conversation because I'm going to be ending this
No,
here
I'm good. I'm
shortly.
good. Everybody who's watching.
I appreciate
I
that,
keep
Bob,
forgetting
and
I moved my camera over here.
I
Wolfie, I was on
appreciate
the other day. He goes, "Why is your elbow?" He goes, "What are you putting your elbow in my face for?" Because I set it up
Well,
differently. I have it now going over this way into the corner because my wife would come in and she'd be like, "Do you have me on camera?" So this way she can come in without, if she comes behind me to get something, it's not. And you don't see all the mess I have on the wall over here on this side. I guess it's, yeah, that's
yeah.
all that side. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being my first guest on the show, and sorry guys in chat for not reading the chat a little bit more. I'm gonna try to get better at the live streams and see what we got going on, later and see, if I can get this live stream stuff going a little better. But I appreciate everybody being here. This, like I said, this was a test run, Bob. I appreciate you being here,
No
and
problem.
hopefully everybody got to say their goodbyes in the chat. And we'll see. I don't know when the next time I'll do a live stream is, but we'll see how things go. I'll keep everybody posted, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. And so, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bob.
All right. Have a good one. Everybody in
Bye.
chat, peace out.